this in motion. There's the first one that went from Scott County into northern Yell County. Now here's the second one that's developing right there in the southeast part of the county. Go ahead, Todd.
Go to storm scan, by the way. I've got video.
Oh, yeah.
Sulphur Springs, was this the storm that, this is the one that...
That's through Sulphur Springs, Texas, yes.
Okay. Is this the one that, I'm trying to figure out where Sulphur Springs is. This is not the tornado storm that we're dealing with right now. This was a different one, right?
That's down in Texas.
But yeah, this one came out of Texas too.
Yeah.
This was one further south.
No, this one, I think this one was a little further south.
You want to key me in front of this and I'll show you what you're looking at. This is from our partners at Live Storms Media. Obviously, rapid movement. This just came into us from our partners at Live Storms Media. This is what happened in Texas. That's a lowering. That's a wall cloud right there. And you see this rapid movement right in there, circulating into it. I have to shuttle along. I'm looking at it for the first time with you. I have not seen this yet. I'm looking for the tornado, but this was earlier. These are the things that, again, the worst hit area has been Texas. It has been southeast Oklahoma. Here in Arkansas, we have had some, you said in Grannis, is that right? The emergency, there's some damage there.
Yes, there's damage in Grannis.
But I don't think it's to the degree that that they've had, hopefully it's not. But if that's what a wall cloud looks like, if you've ever wondered, from Brett Adair, Live Storms Media, which, by the way, he's a great friend of ours. He's been featured on a documentary that's available on Netflix. You can watch that after this outbreak, called Earth Storm. Look up tornadoes, you'll see it. It's all about Brett and everything he does. All right, let's get back to our tornado and the one that is tightening up here in Yell County. It's not the one, as you said, it's not the bookend vortex either. That's not, because that right now, that doesn't even look like anything anymore.
Yeah,
it's very weak.
The circulation there on the north side is a whole lot weaker.
This is stronger.
Though not completely gone there,
right,
northwest of Briggsville. The circulation that has gotten a lot stronger, and now we can even view that from the Little Rock radar, is down to the south of Briggsville. So just a dangerous line of storms continues to move through Yell County, and this is kind of going to be how the tornado threat goes for the rest of the night. There's just going to be areas of spin that are embedded within these lines of storms. And this is the one circulation we're watching now. I'm sure after a little while... Okay, let's see where this one's at. Okay, this is going to extend into Hot Spring County, and this is going to come out of Pike County. The Pike County storm, Todd, from the Little Rock radar, I think I've got it a little bit better than any other radar. And yeah, you can clearly see the circulation. It's right there, getting close to Arkansas Highway 27. This goes all the way out into western Hot Spring County, and it goes all the way to Hot Springs.
Bismarck is included in this. Lake Hamilton, including this. Glenwood is including this. And if we can, James, I don't think we're going to see anything, our Hot Springs camera. Can we point that? I think we still have that one available. Point that towards the south or the southwest, and we may be able to get a glimpse of the lightning, if there's enough light in the sky. That's it right there. That's Daisy. That's the tornado that is indicated by the radar. Nothing confirmed. We'll continue to check the debris signature, but that's it right there. There's Daisy, there's Glenwood, there's Missouri and Bismarck and Hot Springs. You are under the tornado warning, but look how far away it is from you, Hot Springs. Let's hope this dissipates, but you need to start thinking about where you're going to take cover. After this, I think it's more of a damaging wind threat, but the particulars on this, James, I have not looked at. It is moving at 60, so I'll put a storm track on this thunderstorm, which means at 60 miles per hour, I'm going to need some room, all the room that I can get on the screen. At 60 miles per hour, this is the area that is rotating, and we'll put it in the direction the polygon is going at about just around 60 right there. And Amity, it'll be in your location at 6:15. Bismarck, 9:32, so a little under 30 minutes. Bismarck. Hot Springs, if it holds together, the circulation will be near you at least around 9:43. Malvern at about 10:03. Malvern outside of the tornado warning polygon. There's Traskwood outside of the tornado warning polygon, but it's showing you that this particular circulation, if it holds together, will be in your location around 10:03. Now let's look at debris. Do you have anything new, James? I'm looking at debris and I don't see anything conclusive with that, but it's embedded in a lot of rain. So I know James is probably working to get that Hot Springs camera. It would be very difficult to see anything with our camera, but you know what? We've got it. Let's use it, and we'll see what we see with our Hot Springs camera. But James, embedded in a whole lot of rain again.
Yeah, well, there's definitely rotation, definitely the need for a tornado warning. It's moving through central Pike County, will cross into northern Clark County. It also includes Lake DeGray and the state park there. You know, a lot of people camping. Maybe get into a sturdy structure, especially if you're on the western side of the lake. So now we've got 2 tornado warnings. We've got one that's in place until 9:30. That's up in Yell County. We've got one that's in place till 9:45. That includes northern Clark and western Hot Spring, Pike County, and southern Garland County as well. This is really all beginning to form into one solid line. We're just going to have to watch for areas of rotation along these lines. Otherwise, it is just a high wind threat. We'll go back to the Yell County storm for a brief moment. I still think we have some very strong rotation there on the southeast side of the county, and even some rotation there on the west side of Danville. So Danville, don't give up on taking your tornado precautions, because we still have rotation that's on the west side there. Not as strong as it was earlier when that tornado was near Gravelly, but certainly something to watch for there. And then the southeast side of the county, I think, has the strongest rotation in the state right now. And again, moving at 60 miles per hour, the whole line is quickly racing off towards the northeast. And here in just within the next hour, it's going to cross over I-40 and get to the other side of I-40. And so for those of us that are in the metro area, Todd, would you say that we're about an hour and a half out from having storms here? Hopefully all the high school football games that kicked off early will be wrapped up. I'm
really hoping that we'll be able to be done with the tornado warning coverage. You can see the highlights with Sully. He goes the extra mile trying to put all that coverage together for you, and I sure don't want to run over it with tornado coverage. We will if we have to, but hopefully we'll be in a mode that things will wind down. As far as the time of arrival, James, it's 9:06 right now. I think we're looking closer to 10:15 for the arrival in the metro, but I still think this at some point you're going to see this really shoot off. The circulation in Yell County, this one, yes, we're going to continue to warn for it, but by far, that's the northern one. The one that's concerning us right now is due south of Danville. Had reports of sirens going off in Russellville. Don't know what that's all about. There's no warning. There's no official warning in effect for Russellville at this time, but let's go ahead and just play it safe than sorry, because the atmosphere is conducive for something to form, but I have my doubts. But again, rather to be safe than sorry. That's the circulation that's south of Danville moving off towards the north. But we're getting into that mode right now that the development is quick and the de-intensification of this is just as rapid along the leading edge. They're usually brief tornadoes. These are not the typical supercell tornadoes that we saw earlier today in Texas and Oklahoma. Now, that tornado warned storm, Hot Springs, getting reports that the sirens are going off in the Spa City. Yes, you're under a tornado warning technically, but the circulation with it is still quite a distance away from your location. So yes, you are under an official tornado warning, but the rotation is way down here.
So, Todd, who did Catholic play tonight?
Catholic played Marion.
Marion?
They beat Marion.
Who did PA play? Lake Hamilton?
Yes, they did.
Okay,
and now they've got to get back.
So Lake Hamilton right now is on their way back.
Terrible timing.
To Hot Springs. Bad timing. You may want to, if they're on the freeway, maybe get down and hold just until.
If you know them, call them.
Yeah, I just had someone who tweeted at me, but maybe holding off on just driving right into it be not a bad idea, because we're watching the circulation that comes out of Pike County, at least till we can verify that it's not going to impact Garland County, because the southern part of Garland County is under that tornado warning. We've got a new severe thunderstorm warning up in North Arkansas, and it is for Marshall. It's for northern Van Buren County, Searcy County, all the way up to Mountain Home. High winds continue to be the main risk up there. The tornado warnings continue for the west central Arkansas counties. And Todd, I don't see just a ton of rotation with this, especially from the Little Rock radar.
Yeah, I just looked at it too. It was more impressive a little while ago.
This deal coming out of Pike County, but we're still going to watch that. And wouldn't you love to see tornado warnings get canceled and the tornado threat just end altogether?
That's where we're going with this.
We're not there just yet. I still want to point to the storm that's in Yell County. Very strong rotation continues there east of Briggsville. I don't see any debris signatures, so that's good. Don't see any debris signatures. And when I say that, it's basically the radar measuring what's not raindrops being thrown up in the air. And when it does that, we can get a debris signature on radar. It tells us that there's a tornado on the ground. We don't see that right now, and that's very good news. I don't see that on either storm, Yell County or Pike County. But these two, we have seen it several times tonight, Todd. This tornado forms real quick. It's there for about 5 minutes, then it diminishes. I think that's what we're dealing with the rest of the night.
Look at this at 8:57. I'm going to back this up here, the radar. And watch how this is. One thing we haven't seen tonight are tornado warnings getting canceled, before they expire. So this was the circulation that prompted the tornado warning for parts of Hot Spring, Garland County, and Pike County. So that's the circulation right there. It's 9:10 right now. That's when it was issued, right around 8:54. That's why. Good reason. You look at radar. Now let's go off and take it closer to where we are now. Watch how that circulation has just almost completely gone. Take your tornado precautions. I'm never going to tell you not to when there's an official tornado warning in effect. Take your tornado precautions. But right now, James, this thing just does not look like it did. It's near Glenwood and Amity. So if you're watching us from Hot Springs and Bismarck, stay sheltered. DeGray, stay sheltered. Lake Hamilton coming back from PA, the players got to get off the field, change, whatever, get all their equipment, get in the bus, go. Boy, I don't know where they are in that process right now, but they don't need to be driving into this. So if you know somebody from Lake Hamilton or any schools driving back, visiting teams, this is not a good situation you want to be driving into. Because even if there's not a tornado, there's high winds. And you're in a bus, a high-profile bus. You get a crosswind coming at you some way, somehow, a bus can easily be tipped over. You got a lot of family, you got a lot of friends that are trying to get back from that game too. Please let them know, give them a call and say, hey, Channel 7, Todd and James are on right now saying you guys need to find a sturdy shelter and just wait this out a little bit if you're far away from Hot Springs. The circulation continues. Also, there were 2 circulations in Yell County. I want to give you an update on that. The tornado warning was issued actually for the one up here. This is the one, though, that's actually kind of taken over. That one's still there, right there, northwest of Danville. Not as strong. It's a little bit more impressive, though, with this one due south of Danville, moving up towards Ola. Ola, take your tornado precautions right now. You know the drill. You lived here in Arkansas long enough. You know the difference between a watch and a warning. You know where to go when there's a tornado warning issued, and I don't have to tell you that. You know. That's moving off towards the north and the east. And that's also being seen by the Little Rock radar and the one up in Fort Smith. So a pretty good degree of confidence that there's some rotation there. James, just talk to me about this one down here in Pike County.
Big picture.
You hate to advocate for somebody to cancel this after what we've seen tonight.
Well, I'm doing a little bit of mesoanalysis, so I'm just taking kind of a sample of the environment, seeing what's out there. And, it would not surprise me if we had more tornadoes tonight. Tornado threat's not as high as it was an hour and a half ago, though. Real quick, for those of you down in Nevada County, if you're watching us, you've got a strong line of storms that's rolling into your area. Right now, I don't see any indication that any of this is tornadic. But we are watching that. High winds, though. We're getting reports of high winds with that line that have moved through Texarkana, now moving into Lafayette County, Hempstead County, and next is Nevada County. And that's moving northeast, Todd. So this line right here, which at times could produce maybe a brief tornado, it's going to move up towards the northeast, maybe north of Camden, maybe parts of Clark County, and into Dallas County. So that's one to watch. That's one line segment to watch. We've also got a new severe thunderstorm warning. It's for part of Garland and Perry counties. Little storm has developed out here, and I don't think it's going to pose a tornado threat because it is moving directly north, Todd. Now, it is moving directly into the circulation of the storm that is in Yell County. Maybe that can interfere with that at some point and kind of cut it off from being able to do anything. You just referenced that we still have the tornado warning in effect in Yell County, and rightfully so. Moving northeast at 60 miles per hour and it's almost over Petit Jean right now, and it could produce a tornado. As we go down to the Pike County storm, it just doesn't look as impressive as it did. That's good news. A lot of wind, a lot of rain. I don't see any indication that a tornado is still on the ground from either radar site, Little Rock, Shreveport, or Fort Smith, and that's good news. And in fact, the Weather Service may opt to cancel that warning if we continue to see no rotation coming out of that. Todd, the I think the most ominous looking storm in the state, and it's the circulation that began hundreds of miles back into Texas. It's southeast of Danville.
All right, the tornado, that storm that we showed you from our partner at Live Storm Media, by the way, just some new information. I was just texting with Brett. That is the same storm that we're tracking, by the way, that Sulphur Spring, Texas, that went to Idabel. That's this storm. I'm trying to look where I am right now. It is up here towards the north. That thing has gone just incredible. Incredible how long it's tracked. There's a possible tornado there. Go ahead, James.
I'm on the energy outage map, and I'll pull this up. But I've got a section of outages from Harvey to Gravelly to Bluffton.
That's got to be a
western Yell County. So I do think there was a tornado there in the western part of Yell County.
Do you have that on Storm Scan?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. Just give me one moment. But
I'll also pull up Brett's video here in just a second. Key me over this with Live Doppler Network so I can just make sure everybody knows we're all on the same page with this. So there's Danville. That's the circulation due south of Danville. I think that one is going to miss this Danville to the south and the southeast. So there it is right there. There's Danville, Havana, Highway 10. Going over that right now. If there's a tornado, I think that's where it would be located. They have updated that warning and trimmed it back quite a bit. At this point, I do not think that they were going to continue the tornado warning towards the north and the east, but they could. That's a last-minute decision that they'll make with the National Weather Service based on the radar trends, but it looks like that may be winding down. Still, no new information on what they're going to do with this because I just do not see evidence of a tornado with this storm. But as long as there's an official warning in place, please stay sheltered. But there's absolutely no need to panic over this. In Bismarck, Amity, Hot Springs, there will be rain. There will be a lot of wind with this. But as far as the tornado threat, I think it's lower than what we've seen on a lot of these storms. I've been shocked to find things that look like this on radar actually produce a tornado, and they do. But they're usually weak. And until that's gone, the environment is so favorable for these tornadoes right now. Until that warning is officially gone, I'm going to tell you to take shelter. I'm going to play the err on the side of caution with a lot of this. And the National Weather Service has done a remarkable job tonight getting in front of this. And there are partners in getting the warnings out in the communication message and the messaging with this. And those are some good guys down over there at the National Weather Service office. Look at this also near Hope. Just want to point that out.
A little bit of rotation down there.
Yeah, just to let you know that there's still these little pockets. That's near Hope.
All right.
Go ahead, James.
Real quick, Todd, the Entergy Arkansas outage map, I'm on Storm Scan. Right as we look at, that's on U.S. Highway, I believe that's 28, and it runs through Harvey, Gravelly, Bluffton. It doesn't give me a number, but it does say that there is an outage there before you go up the road into Briggsville. So that is where we thought we might have had a tornado debris signature, and at the very least, high winds probably caused that outage. So that is one thing to watch for. Todd, the tornado warning down, including Hot Spring County, there's just not much to it. There's just not much to it right now. So that's certainly a good sign. I think what we may be seeing down towards Hope, hopefully, is just some high winds, but it's on the north end of that line, could be embedded, Todd. I think what may end up happening is that these storms down on the southern end of this line may go further than any of the other storms in the state because they have access to better moisture and instability. And we were looking at that area of rotation right there, and we're looking at it from Little Rock. The guys in Shreveport are looking at it. I think they're just going to stick with the severe thunderstorm warning, but if that changes, we will let you know. Todd, how crazy is it that this one circulation still going? Started southeast of Dallas.
Let's put it up, Brett's video. He's our partner with Live.
Yeah, let me pull this up.
It's on Storm Scan. I've been texting with Brett. This thing started in Sulphur Springs. I'm not familiar with my Texas geography. Can you key me over this, guys, and let me show you what you're looking at. Sulphur Springs, partner Live Storms Media, Brett Adair. I'll promote Brett here because I just talked to him the other day. He's excited about us being on Earthstorm on Netflix. Check it out this weekend. The Tornadoes, the newest episode. He's featured on that along with Brandon Clement. That's the walkout. This is the storm. This is the exact same storm that's in Yell County right now. That's how long this has been going on. Eventually, it put down a large tornado and caused quite a bit of damage. It's caused damage in Arkansas. But this is why we have partners like Brett at Live Storms Media and his crew They do a great job tracking these storms, and they're safe about it. And it looks like this is a drone shot, an aerial view of that of that storm. But you can obviously see that's the wall cloud. At this point, when he was taking this video, you see how low it is. I don't see anything in contact with the ground and from this video, but I'll check to see if he has anything else uploaded. But this is what's in Yell County right now. We saw it was a bigger event in magnitude. December 10th of last year. Do you remember that one? The storm started in Little Rock, went up to Mayfield, Kentucky. This is nowhere that magnitude. It's still bad, but not to that magnitude. Another very long track storm like that. Not as long as the one on December 10th of last year, but that is a scary sight to see. That when you see that, sometimes it's confused with a shelf cloud. And a shelf cloud is just a little gust of wind. This is what a tornado can come out of. And again, you can see that at the bottom of the screen there from Brett, our partners over at Live Storm Media. I asked the National Weather Service what they're going to do with that warning that continues for Hot Spring County. Let's go back to Weather Graphics Computer number 1. And as long as that warning, or there's any tornado warning in effect in the Channel 7 viewing area, we're going to stick with it. But it's still quite a ways from Hot Springs. This is what we've been warning people going back to Hot Springs from any direction. And we know Lake Hamilton was here at West Little Rock at Pulaski Academy for that football game. So they're driving back. Well, you're driving back in heavy rain, wind, and a tornado warning. What they do with that tornado warning right now, because we still don't see anything, here's what, they just responded to me. They're still looking decent right now from the Fort Smith radar. So they're not looking at it from the Little Rock radar. They're looking at it from the Fort Smith radar, which I'll do the same here in just a little bit. But they're going to hold on to it for now. But as they said, some good news, the convective, here I am talking the big words, there's some factors that are going to decrease the capacity for these to produce tornadoes, meaning that the storms are not going to be rooted in the surface. They're going to be more elevated, most likely, later on. And that, when that happens, that means the tornado potential really starts to drop off.
All right, Todd, I've got an update for you.
Go ahead.
All right, so we've been talking with the Storm Prediction Center, and the Weather Service has been too, and I'll kind of draw this explanation on here. The part of the state that's going to have the severe weather threat continue for quite a bit longer, it's basically going to be from where these storms are in the Hot Springs area down over to Pine Bluff and down over to Chico County. It's this section of the state, Camden, El Dorado, Monticello, Dallas County, that has had more instability than any other part of the state. So they are getting ready to expand the tornado watch eastward for areas southeast of Little Rock, because that's where they think the severe weather threat is going to continue, and they think the tornado supercell risk will continue. You see all these little showers we have out there? Those are being watched. None of them are thunderstorms right now, but those are being watched. If they can develop into some storms, those could be tornadic at some point tonight. So that is where the tornado threat will continue well after dark. Also want to keep an eye on this storm that's moving into Nevada County. It's kind of got the look of one that would like to rotate. And as we look at the storm relative velocities, I don't see anything there just yet, but we clearly do have an inflow for wind to get pulled into the storm, and that's kind of the first thing you look at for on reflectivity, at least, for there to be a tornado threat. So high winds likely with this right now, but remember, this is moving off towards the northeast very quickly, and it will be around for a while in the state. And in southern Arkansas, I think it could remain strong, because in southern Arkansas, we've had more instability. Now, it is warm and humid in Little Rock. Instability is not just quite what it is further south, but we still have severe warnings ongoing at this time. But I think for North Arkansas, maybe Central Arkansas too, as we get past 10 o'clock, we'll start to see a weakening trend. And a lot of this, like Todd was saying, may have trouble. These storms may have trouble rotating and getting tornadoes down to the surface. So high winds in North Arkansas, Todd. The circulation in Yell County looking less impressive as we've gone through the last few minutes here. The severe storm that's in Garland County, not rotating, and the tornado warned storm that's moving into Clark, Hot Springs, southern Garland County. No matter what radar you look at, I don't see a whole lot to it.
Well, they're looking at it, he said, from Fort Smith, so that's what I've called up here, so we can kind of look at this here. And I don't even see much here, maybe something in this general area, east of Glenwood, on the north side of that polygon, west of Bismarck. But until they drop this, let's go ahead and take your tornado precautions. But nothing. I feel more confident with the closer radar out of Little Rock, and that really doesn't show anything right now. So do we have the camera? Can we take our Hot Springs camera, guys?
Yeah, we can take that.
Let's take a look at that.
It's got some lightning shots, and I think if they can't pull it up, there we go.
So that's, we got that pointing in the right direction?
This camera doesn't like me to mess with it.
I know, when you hit the button, it just keeps going until you hit the opposite.
So I got it to stop looking towards the southeast.
Okay.
Or southwest.
Southwest, so that's the tornado-warned storm.
Well, there it goes. It just keeps going.
Yeah. Ooh. All right, let's go back the other way. I know what you're talking about. You have to hit the opposite button to make it stop. Oh, there you go, right there. So that's looking towards the southwest there on the right side of your screen. And there's quite a bit of lightning, so you see on the horizon, that's the horizon, the storm coming into Hot Springs. This is why we're saying, hey, if you're coming at it from a distance, if you're in Little Rock and you're leaving Pulaski Academy, or if you're wherever from that section of the state, heading back to Hot Springs, this is what you're running into. That's why we're saying, just wait a little while, wait for this to pass. And it's going to be a while, but there's a lot of lightning, there's a lot of heavy rain. Now, obviously, when you're talking about nighttime tornadoes, if there was one, it would be very difficult to see unless two things happen. One, it's got to be close to the camera with the lightning flashing, and you see it extending to the ground. The other, you have to look for what are called power flashes, and those are transformers and power lines popping. Those are the two ways that we see tornadoes at night through cameras. If the lightning lights it up, or if there's some sort of power line or explosion on the ground, and those are little green flashes typically, and they're on the horizon. So we'll continue to monitor that camera. There's going to be wind, there's going to be rain, there's going to be lightning and all that in Hot Springs. This includes Lake Hamilton. You're under a tornado warning. This is not a confirmed tornado, not like earlier. This is not the storm that was the big one in Texas that came at us and still producing a possible tornado in Yell County, although that has diminished quite a bit. Let's see if we got any new information. James, the tornado warning is in effect till 9:45. So we're going to be on the air. We'll see if they even continue that. There's a chance that they may just drop that. But there's a chance, again, 9:45. If that's gone and that's gone, I want to let our crew know, our producers, let Sully, Mr. High School Football know we may have a 10 o'clock newscast without any tornado warnings. Can't promise that, but that I'm trying to find the silver lining to this cloud here.
Todd, along the leading edge of that storm that went through Yell County, I found a little bit of what kind of looks like a debris signature just over the last 3 scans. Easier to pick out on storm scan, and it is gone now. Not very well defined, but in the general area of rotation, and really not very easy to pick out on velocity. But it was there, and it was there for just a very short period of time, so we may have seen something touch down very briefly there in Yell County, and I'll circle what I'm talking about here. It's this little drop in value right along that line, moving due north-northeast.
Yeah, there could have been something there coming up towards Russellville.
Yeah, could have been, and the last couple of scans, that was much weaker, and it was with a very weak velocity scan. So, sometimes, Todd, you look at velocity scans after a tornado happens, and you just go, how? There shouldn't have been a tornado there, and there was. And
radars aren't perfect.
No, and on a night like tonight, you just got to take every precaution every time you have a tornado warning. And that tornado warning for Yell County continues for just a little while longer. And fortunately, Todd, I just don't see much with the southern storm.
Just want to let our crew know, our production guys, and thanks to them. They never get any recognition, and they put up with us. I want to thank them very much because they're back in our control room. And I want to let our audio operator know, Thomas, that we may be getting Jesse Hayes calling in because he's in that area James was just looking at in Yell County that could have a possible tornado. He said he's going to call in just a minute, torrential rain. But Tim, Steve, Thomas, all you guys, thank you so much for helping us out. And Tyrone, if he's still back there. This is where Jesse Hayes is located. This is Russellville, just to the due south. We're looking at the possible circulation. The tornado warning's been trimmed back. Remember, this started in Sulphur Springs. Showed you the video when this first produced a wall cloud, and we'll look for more video later. This one is what I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with it in 15 minutes. It expires, and since it's in effect for a very populated area like Hot Springs, I don't want to leave everybody hanging thinking, okay, are we going to have a tornado or not? just stay sheltered for now. I just don't see this storm producing, but we have seen stranger things, and the conditions are ripe.
The tornado warning's gone now in Yell County. Did you just say that?
No, I did not say that, but I see it's disappeared.
It has expired.
Good.
So the last warning, tornado warning in the state right now, is the one down in Clark, Hot Spring, and really that includes the southern part of Garland County. And it's going to continue for 15 more minutes. And this is moving at 60 miles per hour. Todd, I don't want to downplay the warning, but thankfully, there's just, it's probably the weakest tornado warning we have seen tonight. And looking at it from a couple of different radars and different sources, that's a very good thing. Now, I do think there's high winds along this, and I'm never going to tell you not to take your tornado precautions, as Todd has said. But this is very quickly approaching Bismarck, and it's very tough for me looking at this to pick out any individual area where there would be a tornado. I think we're looking at some very broad rotation kind of along this line right here. But this is it's moving fast, so it'll pass you by very quickly. And this little line of storms right here, as I time it out for you, at 60 miles per hour, in the next hour, we'll be getting very close to the western side of the metro area, Benton, Bryant, Sheridan, and of course Malvern here as we approach 10 o'clock. This tornado warning continues for 15 more minutes. As we look at velocities, just try to look for other areas of rotation that might be developing. We're watching this line of storms down in the southern part of the state. The severe thunderstorm warning down that way has been canceled from the National Weather Service in Shreveport, and so that's good news. Still some high winds with that one. Our last 2 to 3 warnings, it's up far north Arkansas for high winds, and then the 2 in central Arkansas, severe thunderstorm warning for northern Garland and Perry County, and the tornado warning that is in Hot Spring County and the northern part of Clark County. But Todd, you know, we call it like we see it. I don't see much there.
Well, I just asked him again, since that warning is in effect until 9:45, I'm asking the Weather Service if there's any chance they're going to cancel that warning. Stay sheltered. I want to show you Futurecast. In about 30 minutes from now, those storms are still a little west of Little Rock, but you're going to see in the western sky, you are going to see a ton of lightning moving at us from the west by 10 o'clock. You probably already see some now. Also, by about 11:30 or midnight, see how it's really starting to fall apart, especially this area. This will keep going. That's at about midnight, gone by about 2 or 2:30 in the morning. So nothing yet from the National Weather Service. The tornado warning will continue in that portion of Hot Spring and Garland County until we get any other word saying that it won't be. But as James said, we don't see anything. Could there be something? Sure. Stay sheltered. As soon as we get any notification, we're going to tell you. But the hope for a newscast at 10 is there, and for high school football, which we need a break. It's hopefully Sully can provide that for us. Do you have any new information, James?
No, I'm just kind of going over the meso-analysis, the latest from the Storm Prediction Center. Power outages statewide. We have 7,000 without power. And, well, we've been through some events the last few years where we could have many, many thousands without power. So this line of storms isn't all the way through the state yet. So that is one thing to be considered. But we've got some power outages in Polk County, Yell County, Logan, Scott, Carroll County especially, and a lot of that's likely due to high winds with the lines of storms that have moved through. The Weather Service, Todd, looks like they are considering dropping this tornado warning from Clark, Hot Spring, and Garland County. You know, Todd, talk to people that are on the road right now looking to get to a destination, whether it be Fayetteville, whether it be back home from high school football. They're dropping the tornado warning. So no active tornado warnings in the state, Todd. I would say be very careful out there on the roads, driving through the storms. You know, you'll go through heavy rain. The weather won't be good. But right now, there's nothing tornadic.
Okay, so let me just wrap things up here for as much as I can. The tornado watch continues for western and central Arkansas until midnight. It will likely be issued for areas further towards the east, as James said, especially eastern and southeastern Arkansas. We think this moves into the metro probably about 10 or 10:30, a little delayed, not denied, that's for sure. Here's Futurecast. You're going to see a lot of lightning on the horizon. The primary threat at 10 o'clock will be areas of high winds. There will continue to be a tornado threat, but the tornado threat going forward will be much less than what it was earlier this evening. So this is playing out very close to how we thought this was going to happen. The only thing I think we may have been a little bit wrong about was the timing of this. We were thinking 8 to 10. It may be closer to 10 or a little after for the Little Rock metro area. It's in central Arkansas by 10 o'clock. I think it accelerates, so we're getting close to midnight here. This is just rain, maybe some embedded pockets of gusty winds. This would be the area to watch, I think, by midnight. Jefferson County, as well as Cleveland, Lincoln, Bradley, Ashley, Drew, Deshay, Chico counties. I think those are the areas to watch. This line and the severe weather threat, I think by about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning is done with, and we're off to a great weekend. Tomorrow morning, going to homecoming up in Fayetteville. It'll be dry, it'll be breezy, it'll be a gorgeous day. So we'll be done with this. Remember earlier in the week we were forecasting that this was going to be a tornadic event or a possible severe weather event coming up for Saturday. This moved through a lot faster than we first anticipated. Want to encourage you now to download that KATV weather app. For those of you who do use it, you know how valuable it is, and we rely on you to tell your friends, and we rely on you to tell your family and make sure they have it. Also want to let you know that we're going to be able to have a 10 o'clock newscast. Well, we have some breaking news now. Let's go over to the storyteller, James. What do you have?
I-30 at Fulton, southwest Arkansas. This is looks like an 18-wheeler wreck. Maybe 1 or 2 there flipped over. And Todd, I mean, it may not have been due to wind, may not have been due to anything except other than the roads are wet and it was raining hard. We don't know, but there are some wrecks out there. So if
Which direction on I-30 is that?
This is I-30 down in southwest Arkansas at the Red River. Okay. And so this is down in the far southwest corner of the state before you get down to Texarkana. And as I pull the accident up, it looks like there might be a couple of different tractor trailers that are wrecked down this way. And of course, that's causing a big old mess, and that's tough to work out in those conditions.
So hope nobody was hurt in that one.
So,
all right, thanks for catching that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the way things are looking at 9:36. I think it's safe to throw this back to our regular programming to tell you that we're here. James and I are going to stay in the Weather Center all evening long. Make sure you join us coming up on Channel 7 News at 10 o'clock for the newest information with the forecast and radar and, of course, high school football. There are currently no warnings in effect. Everything is becoming more linear nature. Spin-ups along the leading edge, those are just brief tornadoes. They're still possible. That's exactly how we thought this would play out. So, as always, we sincerely thank you for trusting us and for choosing Channel 7 in these moments where things can get pretty scary. And James, thank you, and we'll be here watching it for you. And thank you very much for trusting the team with the most experience.